Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, it's Joku. I'm back. I want to make this little video on this Unison killer build. So, this DBS Broly, his starter deck Broly. I don't know if you have ever seen him, but basically what he does is doesn't really do too much on his unwake side. So when he's unwake, he just looks for a one-drop freeze army from your deck, and then you put in your hand, and then when he's at 4 life you untap one, draw one. But on his walk side, that's really where it starts to go off. So once you have 7 cards in your drop area, when you swing with this guy, you can draw your hand up to 6 cards. So it's pretty good. But yeah, you need to have 7 cards in your drop, and then he can kind of like kill cards also, just like boom boom. But the restriction on this guy, you can't have more than 2 battle cards in play, so you kind of gotta play around that a little bit. So this is the beginning of the chain. I only play one of these cards, and I know what you're thinking, Joe. This is crazy, man. You only play one this thing. That what if it happens if it's in your life? Then you are totally screwed job. Well, the truth actually is I don't really play this card much. Like I just have this card in the instance that maybe you're playing against like a wish leader or someone that doesn't attack at all, and you need to wake him really fast. This is the way to do it. So I would look for him and grab him. But really, the target in this build is you really want to grab this guy. So when you grab this guy, he's good because he's gonna be able to deal with unisons kind of early on. You know, you take the life, you can double strike to knock some points off the unisons and kind of keep them in control. Because that, and also just put pressure on leaders. But this is the Doryman. He is from Frieza's army, and he's very pink, and he has this little bit of shiny above the tip of his head where it has these points. So people want to be very carefully around him because his head has these spines, and these spines can poke you in your back. So he's good to get off that Broly. So you find him, I play 3 him in the deck, but really turn 2, what you want to do, we're playing also multicolor green-yellow, so you want to charge, if you can on turn 1, you really want to charge a green, and then you want to charge multicolor on turn 2, and then hopefully you can awaken turn 2. But turn 2, when you awaken, you want to play Bardock for 2 energy. So Bardock, once you get him on the field, he's really helpful, and these cards kind of synergize pretty well because when you play him turn 1, turn 2, you can play Bardock, and then you can kill this card and make your opponent discard, and then Bardock helps just kind of keep combo power low, and he's also a threat on board if you need him later on. It's just something they have to deal with. But really the main purpose of Unison in this deck is like it gives your opponent something to focus on other than your leader, because once you're at 4 life, like you don't want to be taking many hits, you want to protect your life. But they're gonna have to deal with Bardock, so you get him out and he can be really good. So run 4 Bardocks, and Bardock gives you access to this Frieza, who is this is kind of the Frieza he's right about ready to sit down on the toilet. It looks as if he has something brewing in his stomach, and he's gonna sit down and take a steamy one, and that's kind of what happens to the card you play if you counterplay with this guy, and he's free with Bardock if he has 2 more markers, and then he just dies. So really the way that we're playing the Broly chain is with this card. This card is Wailing Spirit. Basically what you do, you play it for 2 energy, you run 3 of them, and that's going to play out this 4-drop Broly. And this 4-drop Broly is like, I'm going to get this party started, I'm coming in hot, and he has his skills, you can do some board control, but really you want to keep these in your deck. So these stay in your deck. Turn 3, you play this guy, get him out of the deck, he comes into play. And then, they're probably going to try to kill him. And if they kill him, then you can, go up the normal chain. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. But this is the normal chain. So when he comes out, you can KO something during activate battle. And then if he dies, then he goes into the big boy, and then the big boy can KO something in Northern Barrier. So we only play 3 of this big boy, but we play 4 of this because this is usually the second route that you go. But here's where the deck gets kind of spicy. So say you really want to deal with some Unison, so you get this guy out, and then they kill this guy on their offensive turn. But if you have this guy and they have Unison, this guy is a great way to deal with Unison. And I know exactly what it is that you're thinking. Oh, Joku, this is madness. This guy does not really do nothing to Unisons. And you're correct. He doesn't really do anything to Unisons. I mean, he has double strike. He's 25k. That's a nice body to swing with. But when you play this guy, you can tap 1 green energy, after you swing with him, whatever, and you can bring this guy out. Now this is the reason why I don't play this deck competitively, is because this card is not foil. So I would never actually play this deck in big competition because this card is not shiny. But if they made this card shiny, then I would play this deck. So you play this guy out, and then you can resolve skill on him and just kind of freeze like a card. Like you can like freeze one their energy or something. And all these things you pay for, you're kind of paying by pitching cards, and that's where a leader comes in, is because you kind of save your leader swing, and then when you swing leader, that's when you kind of fill your hand back up. So you tap one green energy, and you play this guy on top of this guy. You pitch a card, you freeze one their energy or something, and then you tap to evolve into this guy. So this is more like a turn 4 play, maybe turn 4, turn 5. But when this guy comes in, this man can just kill Unison. So once your opponent has 3 energy and this guy comes into play, you can just choose one of your opponent's cards. You pitch a card, and then you can just kill something. So you can tell that he's gonna explode pretty much anything because of his name. It says explosive. And you can see in his chest there's something that's exploding, maybe inside of his heart. But what is exploding on your opponent's side is their Unison card. So you can actually just blow up a Unison. This is the only card in the game that I know of, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as cards go in the game, this is the only card that can just straight up blow up a Unison. But you can also blow up one of their energy, which also is very impressive, because as long as he's on the board pretty much every time, you can just kill one of their energy and like freeze their game. But also if they have Unison, you just blow up their Unison, so it can really slow things down. So this is a really cool card, and I like this deck because there's kind of 2 routes of versatility. Like you can go to this guy through this chain, or you can go to this guy, and you can either do board control or you can do energy control, and it's very just kind of cool controlling kind of build. I think this deck would kind of hurt against Bejex. You need to kind of deal with Bejex, and that's why we play Dormant Potential. So Dormant, run 4 Dormants, and once you get Bardock off, this could kind of help a little bit with Bejex, but hopefully you have Bardock on board, and they're going to want to try to deal with Bardock, and you can maybe counterplay something. But I also run 2 of this guy. This is just a good card. Like, you can kill something, or you can just rest something, and it's kind of helpful to just get in there. Don't really see play too much. If anything, it's just a green yellow to charge on turn 2, or you can charge it or turn 1 if you're not going in really fast. And then this card's really good, especially in this deck. You usually don't really have so many cards in hand, so you can play this. You can use this for your rival cost, and then it also just becomes a free 10k when you don't usually have more than like 6 or 7 cards in hand. So to just have a free 10k when you're swinging in for Pretty Pearl Necklace, Android 18 just says, not today, Joe. I'm gonna give you this 10k and rival, and it's pretty good. So this is kind of like the meat and potato man. You can see he has a very shiny potato in his hand, and this is very angry Broly. His father really hates vegetables, so he pretty much was only fed crab apples his whole life, and he was raised basically only eating crab apples because his pappy Paragus really doesn't like vegetables because of the planet Vegeta and Vegetables. But this guy, he's really pissed because pretty much his entire life he has only known the flavor of crab apples. So once you get him on board, if you play him correctly, he can be really vicious. You can make your opponent discard their hand, and then you just kind of kill them, and they're left with the flavor of crab apples in their mouth. Great super combo. This man was just feeding crab apples to this man his whole time growing up. See, you can see he actually has a crab apple in his hand, and he says, "Hello, son, I have brought you a crab apple for you to eat today." And then his son takes a crab apple, and he says, "No, Peppy, I hate this crab apple. I'm going to send it into space." And that's kind of how this story goes. But they're both really good cards, so I recommend to play them if you have them. I'll run 4 this super combo, draw 2 warp ones, like really strong. Here's the secret rare, the other secret rare, Cold Bloodlust. Just a great card to just kind of slow things down and potentially stop a turn and help you win a game if you need to, but limited to 1. This card is going to be worth millions of dollars, so if you don't have one, pick one up right now. They're like $3.50. But in this deck, it's really good because you're emptying your hand so much, so it's very possible in the beginning of turn 1, like you're just going to have this guy. And if you don't have, hopefully you don't have 2 guys in your battle area. And if you don't, you can just play him, and then you get a quad strike dual attack. That's like pretty strong, but you can only play him after 4 energy, but still pretty good card. And then, you know, we run our multicolor energies here. Those are just for charging, and then our dormants, and that's pretty much the deck. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendation or comment, I have not lost with this deck yet. I also have not played it in like a big event. I've just, you know, played with friends, but it's pretty impressive and it's pretty fun to play. I mean, I like to have a deck that has, you know, multiple options of how you can play it, and I feel like this deck has 2 really good, interesting control options. And I think that it may be a contender in the next meta. So maybe pick up some of these cards. They're not too expensive. You know, the Crabapple Broly is very expensive, but other things are, you know, relatively cheap deck, except for this card is expensive. So yeah, check it out. If you like my video, please smoosh the subscription button. It's over there somewhere, or maybe over there. But if you smoosh the button for subscription and hit the ding dong bell, you can get notification when I make videos. And if you like to see some videos on other stuff, I'm happy to do just some card reviews where I can tell you the story of cards. You know, we can go through some of the shiny cards, and I can talk about all the different stories and where they come from and what their emotions are and what's happening, like all sorts of stuff. So we could totally do that if it's something you're interested in. But you know, just smoosh that subscription button, and don't forget to always have a side chick for your leader. It's very important to have a side chick. I think she helps casting spells, and she will help to win the game. So see you next time. Thanks for watching my show.